let's start with the five teams that we think can win it all and why. And
Okay.
I'm going to kick things off. I'm going to kick things off with your boy John Shire and Duke, because they do have all the pieces. They've got a elite point guard, I think, in Tyrese Proctor. He hasn't shown he's elite yet, but I think he's going to be elite.
But the jump is coming, right?
I think we all agree the jump's going to be there for Proctor. Yes.
Yep.
Filipowski, as long as he's healthy from the double hip surgery, one of the best players in the country. Preseason first team All-American by the Associated Press. You've got some good young players. I think Jared McCain's going to have a big year. You've got glue guys like Mark Mitchell. You've got backup bigs like Ryan Young. Like, they just don't really lack a whole heck of a lot.
Would you argue that maybe shooting could be an issue from the perimeter, maybe, for this team? I mean, I think Duke is going to be there too, but you're confident with that?
Right. I just think they've got really good overall shooting. Enough, right? Filipowski can make shots from deep. Proctor can shoot it from deep. Didn't shoot it great early last year. McCain can really shoot it. I think they got enough. I think they got enough, and I don't know how if you're making a list of five teams that can win it all, I'm not sure how you could leave Duke off.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I got them on mine. So
go ahead. Who else you got?
Kansas. I have the Kansas Jayhawks. Even without Arterio Morris, DeJuan Harris, big time point guard, great defensive player, stirs the drink, shot a respectable percentage from three. Nick Timberlake, he needs to make shots for this team, certainly, because it's going to be an interesting fit with KJ Adams and Hunter Dickinson together. And I've seen Hunter play plenty with a four-man that has struggled to make shots from three. So if that, if the shooting's not there on the perimeter, because KJ Adams really isn't a three-point shooter, he's a facilitator, he's a big-time athlete, he's a tank, then I would think Hunter's going to see a lot of doubles like he did last year. But the talent is there. McCullough's a really good college player, big-time defender. Elmarco Jackson, big-time freshman, and then just the depth, that they'll throw at you with Zach Clements. I think Parker Brown is going to get a chance to get thrown in there. Jamari McDowell, talented freshman. And then I'm really curious to see what Johnny Furphy is. This Australian player that nobody knows much about. But, Bill Self is just a terrific X and O's coach, and they have a ton of talent. So the Kansas Jayhawks are on that list for me.
Yeah, they're right there with me too. It's 1A Duke, 1B Kansas. The only thing I worry about with Kansas that I don't worry about as much with Duke is the perimeter shooting. I think it's more of a question mark for the Jayhawks than it is for Duke, but they've got everything else, and I think they can win games on the defensive end, where I'm not sure Duke can do that yet. I think Duke's going to outscore people. Kansas is going to win some grinders this year when they don't make threes.
Yep.
Next for me, I'm going in your league. I'm going Michigan State.
Yep.
Tom Izzo and veterans and good guards and enough good guards that you're not relying on AJ Hoggard, right? Like, you got Tyson Walker.
There's other guys, if he's on one of those nights where he was so up and down last year, if he all of a sudden's on one of those down nights, you could go Tyson Walker and throw Jeremy Fears out there. Because it sounds like Fears is going to get an opportunity. I'm not saying he's going to start over those guys, but it does sound like he is going to be in the mix.
No, they love Fears. He's going to play because he's tough. Yeah. And again, he's consistent with his approach, which I think it's not even like Hoggard up and down in games. I think it's Hoggard up and down in practices too. And sometimes, again, that translates, right? If you're up and down in games, a lot of times you're going to be up and down in practices. I think that's Izzo's biggest issue. And I think now he can just say, you know what? If you're not playing well, we'll sit your ass down. And we got Jeremy Fears right behind him. But I think Michigan State's got almost everything. I know Jackson Kohler's hurt now, but that's still the one thing that worries me.
The big situation has got to be, Sissoko, if he was, I don't want to say their backup. If he was playing 15 or 20 minutes a game, I would say, okay.
Yes. They can win it all. Yeah.
But I look at the way Purdue manhandled Michigan State last year. And at the rim, they were not good defending. So that would be my concern. I think Jaden Akins still could be a guy that breaks out. I really think that last year his foot threw him off. Malik Hall is back. We didn't talk about Xavier Booker. He's going to be fascinating. Big-time player, but Is he ready? Is he tough enough? Is he, does he overcome Kohler if Kohler's healthy, Carson Cooper, Marty Sissoko? I don't know.
He's going to be Khalil Ware. That's who he's going to be from Oregon last year. He's going to be Khalil Ware, where he's going to play like 12, maybe 15 minutes, average 5 or 6 points a game. He'll have a couple nights where
didn't Ware average more than that? I mean, a couple games early, Ware had some good games. But I know he didn't play well at the end of the year.
I think he averaged like 6 points a game.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. It was disappointing. So I got Michigan State. Do you have them Spartans on there too?
Yes, I do.
All right. Go ahead. Next.
Purdue. I'll stay in the Big Ten. That's probably going to be considered a homer pick, but you just
no, not really.
You can't look at their talent and say that they don't belong there. Edey, you start there, National Player of the Year. Preseason National Player of the Year, and then I think the fact that their freshman guards are now sophomores, Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer. I think Braden Smith takes the next step this year. I really do. He was good as a freshman. I think that he is going to be big time as a sophomore. They're super high on Trey Coffin-Wren. They're going to play him with Edey a lot. He can really score in the post. I'm a little curious as to how he shoots the ball, just because of the spacing that you could see. That could be a little funky if you got two guys on the block. And then I think that 3 position is up in the air. Is it Ethan Morton? Is it Lance Jones? Is it Miles Colvin? Is it Brian Waddell? They're pretty high on him. And then their front court depth is tremendous with Edey, Coffin-Wren, Caleb First, Mason Gillis. I mean, how many teams can throw out 4 guys like that? They will crush you on the glass. They need to shoot the ball better from 3. But I do think that this Purdue team is better equipped to be dynamic and have some guys that can get to the basket while also getting some stops. And I just didn't feel like that last year. I think Lance Jones helps in that regard. Miles Colvin certainly helps in that athleticism regard. Cam Heide, who redshirted last year, helps in that regard. He's like a 6'7" wing that, I mean, in layup lines as a redshirt, you're like, this dude's like windmilling and doing crazy stuff. He's really athletic. I think that they have a great chance. I really do. Their guards have got to play well. They got to make threes. But you've got Edey, and it's all going to center around him.
I'm with you. I picked Purdue too. The only thing I worry about with Purdue, honestly, is the rotation. Like, they have too many guys right now.
Oh, like how do you keep everybody happy? Yeah.
Right. Right. Am I wrong on that? Like,
no, I mean, it's a heck of a problem to have, but I mean, you've got 4 dudes in the front court that are really good, and you've got a bunch of guards that are really good. So they're going to have to figure it out.
And you're going to play
maybe the thing could be sacrifice someone's going to have to sacrifice probably a lot.
Yeah. I think like an Ethan Morton is going to see his minutes cut. I mean, but
then I heard he played phenomenal in the scrimmage. They have those 3 scrimmages, and supposedly he was big time. So,
well, and he's going to be, because he's a veteran. He knows how to play. Again, you're safe with Ethan Morton. You're safe with him. I just.
But can you get someone that maybe lifts the ceiling? I mean, Ethan's going to defend. Yeah. He needs to make more shots from the perimeter, I think, for him to really be a weapon out there. But is the ceiling is certainly higher with other guys, but Ethan is going to be solid. I think you can say that.
Yeah, my two concerns are, again, figuring out the rotation and still athletically. Are you going to be able to play Colvin? Like, are you going to play him?
Well, is he ready? Right. Is he ready to play high major college basketball on a team that is legit Final Four good? Yeah, that's a question mark.
But I like him. Listen, again, Zach Edey's a monster down there. Nobody can stop him. The 5th one. Okay, so we agree with all of our first 4. The 5th one, I'd be shocked if you agree with me.
Okay.
I'd be shocked.
Do you want me to go first? You want to go first?
I'm going to go first.
Okay.
Villanova. How about that? Villanova. Justin Moore and Eric Dixon still know that Villanova culture, right? They're left over from that. They know what it takes. And then you bring in a bunch of really good talent.
Their transfers are good. Yeah, their transfers
really good, Rob. Really good.
They have a good roster. Old. If they don't win this year, there's a problem, right, with the roster he's put together.
And we'll get to that, because Kyle Neptune will be one of the coaches that has some pressure.
Do you worry about Mark Armstrong running the point, though?
I think Justin Moore is going to run the point a lot. I do. I
You
think
think
you're going to
they
have
just put
to.
him at the point?
I
And,
do. Yep.
Yeah.
That's your best lineup at the end of the day. If Armstrong's not ready, which again, if he's ready, that's great. You play more off the
What are you
ball.
going then? More Hakeem Hart, Tyler Burton, Longino, or TJ Bamba?
No. Yeah, Bomba's going to play. Bamba can score.
And
from
then
the
Eric
wing.
Dixon. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. That's a big ass team too. That's a lot of length.
I mean, it's just
other than
everybody's
Dixon.
6'4", 6'5", and up, right?
Other than Dixon in the middle, you've got a lot of length everywhere else, and you've got a lot of experience, Rob. A lot of experience on that team. So
yeah, but you've got to put it together. I mean, that's going to be the thing. There's a lot of new faces. You do have a good core of guys that have won, and you don't have Jay Wright anymore. I mean, that's
you do not. That's the big question. Of course, listen, if Jay Wright were still coaching that team, Rob, you would have them as one of those 5 teams.
I mean, absolutely.
Right. That's the only reason you don't right now.
Yep.
Who do you have? Who's your 5th?
I'm going Marquette. I'm
going
to go with Marquette. I just think with the point guard play that they have, and then who they have back in their starting 5, I think Iguodaro could be one of those guys that just breaks out and has a massive year. You've got Cam Jones back. You've got Stevie Mitchell back. You've got David Joplin. Even without Max Prosper, he goes to the league, and they still have a really talented team. I think they're tough to play against. And they have dynamic guards. So I think Marquette is a team that can get it done and win it all.
Yeah, I was just going a little outside the box with Villanova.
The Nova pick is interesting because look at the roster. They do have a really, really talented group.
Yes. They don't have a lot of holes other than, again, if you want to say point guard play. But my take is if you go Armstrong and Justin Moore, it takes a lot of the pressure off of Armstrong too.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, I think they could play that way. They can then play with Justin Moore at the point. He's not a traditional point, but he can handle it. Not a lot of guys are going to go after him. And he's a year removed now from the injury.